of the stages, Ponciano Luakataka and Musa Nsubuga were still first on the road, looking to improve on 5th place. Out on the stages, they were driving hard, setting times that would see them climb 2 places to 3rd overall. They were amongst the 3 fastest through each of the stages, but with several visits to the undergrowth, they didn't manage a stage win. The rally still belonged to Jamie White and Phil Arconall. With so much time in hand, they were not taking any risks, having settled into a pace, were flowing through the sections, even setting the fastest time on 3 of the 6 stages, increasing their lead by another 80 seconds. Giancarlo De Vite and Sylvia Wintervogel's only chance of winning the ARC category would now be if Jamie White faltered. They recovered 28 seconds when they were fastest through stage 10, but unbeknown to them, they damaged the rear end in the process. This became evident on the last stage of the day when suddenly they had no control and spun wildly into the bank.
I came in the turn there, the car slipped outside and then lift up. When it fell down, we lost the rear wheel left.
Their rally was over, but they would continue the following day under the Super Rally rules. With the competition between the Ugandans at fever pitch, Ronald Sebuguzi and Cedric Buzabo were forced to push the Evo 9 to the limit. Learning the car was out the window, and they stormed through the stages to take over the now vacant 2nd place. Christakis Fatidis and Guy Dekaleva had now settled into the rally, and with the stages being a repeat, they were more familiar with the conditions and began to open up. They immediately climbed 3 places on the leaderboard to claim 4th overall. In 5th were Godfrey Lubega and George Semakula, who were one of the 2 Ugandans to win a stage on the loop. But their times placed them too far back for it to make an impression on their overall placing. With the pace of the rally getting quicker and quicker as the crews became familiar with the stages, Nasser Mutebi and Bashils Mbogo were caught off guard. Although they were consistent, they lost time to the others on each stage and dropped 2 places to 6th. Rallying in Uganda is revered, and nowhere on the African continent are there so many who turn out to watch. Spectator points along the route were fully occupied, especially at the VIP hospitality point at Nakasita. With the cars passing twice, it was the best place to be on the day. With the rally at the halfway point, Jamie White had a commanding lead of nearly 4 minutes. Sebuguzi and Luakataka were only separated by 3 seconds in 2nd and 3rd, with the others all well separated over 10 minutes behind. The host hotel for the rally was the Hotel Africana, and it was here the weary, battle-scarred cars returned for the overnight halt.
Hotel Africana is ideally located to cater for the rally fraternity, and we have the services and facilities that they all need, and we want them to come in as guests and leave as our friends.
Conveniently located in the center of Kampala, with panoramic views of the city skyline, the surroundings provided a welcome break, and as the day turned to night, all tensions were put on hold. Once again, it was an early start, and with the cars having been reseeded into their overall positions, it was Jamie White and Phil Arconall who would be leading the field. As they left the first control of the day, they knew that a sensible but quick drive was all that was needed to secure the win. The final leg of the rally would only cover 71 kilometers of competitive motoring. All but one of the stages were repeats of leg 1. The new section was stage 20, which was not only the longest stage of the rally, but also a real sting in the tail. With 6 stages remaining, Jamie White and Phil Arconall knew the rally was far from over, but with the ARC their only goal, winning overall would be a bonus. They were no longer attacking, in favor of just maintaining their leading margin. But even at this pace, they were still fastest through 2 of the next 4 stages, giving away only 7 seconds. With the new windscreen fitted, Ponciano Lwakataka and Musa Nsubuga started the day in third. They soon closed the 3-second gap on Semujju, and after winning stages 16 and 18, they opened the gap between them to 18 seconds and took over second place. Watch how quickly they obtained the midpoint passage stamp on their time card, assisted by a fast-reacting controller. Ronald Semujju and Cedric Duzabu were only quicker than Lwakataka on one of the 4 stages, but it was not enough to stay ahead, and they dropped to third. The pace at the front was now so fast that the leading 3 cars were all within 10 seconds of each other on each stage, and with the championship points at stake, the race would go all the way to the end. After a long night repairing their car, Giancarlo De Vita and Silvio Wintervogel were once again on the move. They were out of the ARC race, but if they finished, the bonus points gained would be a valuable addition. Both they and the car were on top form, and they were storming through the stages, not putting a wheel out of place.
My mechanics works up to 5 in the morning. Let's finish the last 2 stages, hopefully, and we'll score the 5 point of the bonus leg today.
Christakis Fatidis and Guy Deklever were now the only other ARC contender remaining, and being 17 minutes behind Jamie White, they were destined for second. They were also 4th overall, and with a margin of 2 minutes over the car behind, it was now just a case of maintaining their pace to the end. It's surprising that at the pace Nasser Mutebi and Bashir Mboko passed our cameras, that they were not further up the leaderboard. They did overtake Lubega to move up a place from 6th to 5th. Having put in such a good performance the previous day, Godfrey Lubega and George Semakula were surprisingly off the pace on the last day of the rally. They were showing signs of having been off, and the time lost put them in 6th, position they would hold to the end. With only 2 stages remaining, the leaderboard was beginning to look final, and Jamie White's lead of just short of 4 minutes would be impossible to catch. Focus was now on who would come second, between Lwakataka and Semujju. Further down the field, the KCB Pearl of Africa Uganda rally was more of a marathon than a race, with the cars showing signs of the struggle. Still in good shape was the brand new Subaru N12 of Charles Muhangi and Frank Nekusa. They are past ARC champions, having won the championship in 1999, and were making a return to rallying with high ambitions that gave rise to much speculation before the event. But it had not started well when the engine mapping forced them to miss the start, and they incurred a 14-minute penalty. With the spirit knocked out of them, they were cruising through the rally, just enjoying the experience of being behind the wheel again. They would eventually finish 5th.
It's so good now. I'm relaxing, enjoying, unlike before. So it doesn't make any sense to compete when you can't make it.
The youngest driver in the event was 20-year-old Shafiq Semujju, navigated by Leon Senyange. Their N10 was not looking good. They had had an accident early on, which was followed by a visit to the undergrowth. It was only superficial damage, but they would not recover the time spent off the road and went on to finish 7th.
The roads are slippery, and we didn't cushion the slippery section, so we are pushing and we went off the road. We've been sliding off the road, overshooting from the turns, that's all.
Ben Mushemi and George Mwangi were the only entry from Kenya. They were also showing signs of having been off and were lucky not to have blown their engine when a radiator pipe split.